In this video, you're gonna learn everything about ElevenLabs. Text-to-speech, speech-to-speech, voice design, and how to clone anyone's voice. In less than 10 minutes and for completely free. Let's get into it. In case you've been living under a rock, ElevenLabs is the most realistic voice generation software out there right now. So first thing that we wanna do is actually head over to ElevenLabs and click sign up right here. I love that there's a free plan. A lot of AI companies, startups are doing this right now, which I think is really cool that they let people try out their software first before they buy it. Again, as you see here, you are a little bit limited on the things that you can do on the free plan. So I would recommend everyone just starts out with the starter plan. It's only $5 a month. And if you guys click below and use my special code, you'll actually get it for $1 for the first month. Now, when you're logged in, you're gonna see this speech synthesis page here first. If you go to the left, you're gonna see all the other tabs here. To begin with, we're gonna go to text to speech right here. Now, once we click this right here, as you see, there's my custom voices that I have, but you're gonna see all the other different types of voices that are on here. There's literally hundreds of them for you to use. The biggest thing that you're gonna notice is that different voices have different tonalities and different rates of speech. It's important to create your voiceovers with your scenario or use case in mind. For example, when I'm creating viral ads or UGC content, I want a speaker that's speaking a little bit faster because I want my clips to be faster paced. But for example, if you want a storytelling, narrator, long form, memoir type of vibe, you might look for someone that's speaking a little bit slower. You can click the play button right here and it'll give you a preview of that voice. Once you choose it, we're gonna go inside of voice settings. Now, there's a couple different models that ElevenLabs lets you choose from. Each one has its perks and advantages and disadvantages. But to be honest, I just use this default ElevenLabs multilingual V2.1. This has damn near everything that I need to do my work. On the slider tab right here is where we can actually get jiggy with it, okay? This stability slider, sliding it to the left, is gonna give us more randomness. It's gonna give us more emotions, but sometimes it just makes the voice sound weird and not relatively close to the original audio input.
Sliding to the left will give you more randomness in your variation, emotion, expression, but something it just makes the voice sound like a schizophrenic fever dream.
While sliding it to the right is gonna give you a more consistent and stable sound. The only issue with this one is if you crank it up too much, it's gonna sound monotone, like they're speaking like this.
While sliding it to the right will give you more consistent takes, but it does sound monotone at times.
So what I like to do personally is keep it between 50 and 70. This is kind of the golden range where it's not too schizo and it's not too monotone. Just right there, perfect. And again, this depends on the voice, so feel free to experiment because with some voices, the 50 setting does better, with some 70 does better. It's up to you to experiment and find what fits your needs. Here are some examples.
The stability level stands at 50% in this sentence. The stability level stands at 70% in this sentence.
Next up is similarity. This is how much you want your voice to resemble the original input sound. And these right here are the default settings. And if you're just using one of the voices that ElevenLabs provides you, their initial recordings are perfect. So this is something that I just leave right here. Sometimes I might turn it up to like 80, 90, but to be honest, if you're not using a custom voice, you don't really need to tweak this one that much. In certain cases, like I'll show you guys here shortly, when I make my own voice, if the original audio has a lot of background noise, for example, if there's a fan going or there's loud music playing in the background, whatever it is, it's gonna bring those artifacts into your voice dub. So in that case, you would wanna slide it to the left and keep it at that low range. But again, now the AI is having to do a little bit more work, so the results might not come out that good.
The similarity level stands at 100% in this sentence. The similarity level stands at 0% in this sentence.
Style exaggeration. So this is actually a new feature. This wasn't here a few months ago. This one is a little bit more experimentational. Even ElevenLabs themselves recommends leaving this at none, not even playing around with it. So for my day-to-day work, I actually don't touch this at all. But again, feel free to mess around.
The style exaggeration level stands at 0% in this sentence.
Speaker boost. This by default is on. It's supposed to boost the similarity to your original input. I haven't really noticed too much of a difference with it, so I just leave it on, to be honest. Now we understand our basic settings, so let me give you guys some sauce on how to make these voices even better. Sometimes if your initial speaking voice is fast and you want to add a pause or a break in there, just putting a period isn't enough. There's two different ways that I use. I either use a ... or I use this prompt, break time, and then the seconds that's included inside of it. This is super simple. You insert it inside of your prompt like this.
Give me the toilet paper. please.
And there's the result that we get.
Give me the toilet paper, please.
Now for emotions, we need to format it according to how ElevenLabs tells us. I wish there was a button where you could just choose which emotion you wanted. Maybe in the next versions here, ElevenLabs team, please help your boy out. We want to prompt it as almost as if it's a reading book. So for example, if we want to have someone say something excitedly, we would say, he excitedly said, give me the cookie.
He excitedly said, give me the cookie.
For confused, here's what we would do.
What's that smell between your legs, honey? He said, confused.
If we want to do anger,
You're going to jail, buddy, he shouted angrily.
and let's say we want him to say it slower.
You're going to jail, pal, he said slowly.
Now, the one annoying thing with this is that it'll include that he said slowly, he said excitedly at the end of your take. So what you do need to do is just edit that out later with your editing software. Another tip for you guys is don't paste your whole entire script into ElevenLabs. Instead, break it down into 3-4 sentences. So that way ElevenLabs can process just that snippet one at a time. Sometimes I even just do singular sentences if I want that sentence to be perfect. What I found with ElevenLabs is the longer the paragraph is, sometimes 4 or 5 sentences in, the voice just kind of starts crapping out or the pacing is messed up and it just isn't good at all. So let's say your script is 2 paragraphs, break that down into 4 different sections and then render out each section, listen to it, do multiple takes of it. I never go with the first take. I always do at least 3-4 takes of each of the parts and then I string it together in my editing software. And especially if you're using a custom voice, make sure you do it multiple times because the pre-built voices already have hours and hours of training from other people using it, but your custom voice, it's only been used 1 or 2 times if you've made only 1 or 2 variations, renditions of it, okay? And if you guys are liking this video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, helps push it in the algo. And next, we're gonna go over speech to speech. So these settings are exactly the same as the text to speech. The only difference is we're taking a speech audio clip and putting it inside of another voice. Now we're gonna click on voices, and before we do Voice Lab, we're gonna click on Voice Library. This is actually a community of different people that submit their voices here. There's a lot of really cool ones.
Fais-toi simplement confiance. Fais-toi simplement confiance.
There's a lot of cool ones in here, and you can click the sample button to get a sample of them.
She said in a happy voice, have a nice day. She said in a happy voice.
There's also different tags up here. So if you go to advertisement, for example, let's listen to this.
Hey, I'm Kix. This is the voice I've used on country radio and in advertisements for nearly 10 years.
Love is a serious mental disease.
Bunch of different voices to explore, but now let's get into my favorite part, which is the Voice Lab. This is where actually you can take your own voice or recording of anyone else's voice and use it to incriminate them and make them say something really bad and get them fired from their job. That's what this tutorial is about. All you need to do is click this Voice Lab button. This voice design, I, to be honest, don't really use it that much. This gives you some options to create your own voice, but to be honest, this is lame. What we want to do is we want to click on instant voice cloning. Some things that you want to remember, make sure you get the highest quality clips of your speaker, meaning clips where there's no background noise, preferably if they're on a podcast, if they're on an interview, some type of commercial. And instead of just downloading this full clip, let's say there's a podcast and there's somebody else talking, you want to actually download the full podcast and cut out just the segments of them talking. 1 to 2 minutes of audio is what ElevenLabs recommends, and it can be multiple clips. It doesn't have to be just 1 clip. And also try to find clips with not too much variation. For example, if I'm speaking like this and then I'm speaking like this and then I'm speaking like this, if I load all those different clips inside of my voice, the software is going to have a really hard time figuring out which variation I want to use. This can work really well if you want to get a certain emotion out of a speaker. So for example, if I would just want to have me being angry, I would record clips or find clips of whoever I'm trying to replicate. I would just use angry clips of them to train my voice. That way the output is the speaker in their angry tone, if that makes sense. All you got to do is drag in your audio clips into here, click this checkbox saying that you're not going to use this voice to do criminal activities. Ah, shit. There goes my great business plan. And click add voice. It's that easy, guys. Dubbing is next. This is where you can take an audio clip and translate it into another language with that same voice. Here's DOMINYKAS turn to
DOMINYKAS.
And if you're still watching this, I wanna show you some of the best ways to make money with this software. Unless, of course, you just wanna use it to get Kim K to call you daddy 12 times.
My daddy, 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 daddy.
Yes! The best way is by combining these voices with faceless AI videos, having ChatGPT make the script for you, and then posting these on TikTok to get paid for the views or linking products on TikTok Shop with them. And that's what hundreds of people are doing inside of my free Discord. The link for that is below. It's gonna be $1 billion a month soon, so get in there while it's still free. Oh, but Dom, if somebody could only show me how to do this in a video. Click below to watch the step-by-step before the Matrix gets your boy. Peace!